My name's Eleanor Hick. I work as an independent trainer and consultant in Lancashire, and I've travelled from Preston.
I'm Wendy Cliff. I am from Attendees, Oxfordshire, and I came from Oxford today.
I'm Michelle Brooks, and I work within Staffordshire, and I work within continuing care for children and young people. So I'm a commissioner of complex services across the area.
I'm Jill Davies, and I work for Contact a Family, and I run the education helpline there.
I'm Steve Broach. I'm a barrister at Monkton Chambers in London, and I specialise in special educational needs and disability law. I'm here today running a workshop on recent developments in the case law.
It's always useful to hear the up-to-date facts from the tribunal, for instance. It's useful to hear what the DFE think is happening and be able to compare that to what's happening on the ground, I think. So yes, it's always good to get up-to-date information.
As always, there's a lack of time to fully explore all the areas, and it would be nice to ask more questions, but it's certainly covered all the things that I would expect to hear about. I've particularly found the report on the SEND inspections useful, just hearing about some of the outcomes of those.
They have been relevant, yes, but I would say that some of the topics have not given as much insight in concrete terms into the future as I would have liked.
Really interesting conversations about integration of services actually from education and the local authority, and how perhaps they need to join up in better ways, but also interested in to hear about the outcomes of the review and how that's going to make changes for joined up working.
I'd like to have seen the guy from the DFE acknowledge the lack of funding and talk about the future in terms of the reality that schools are facing about funding, but that didn't get mentioned at all, and I think that's disappointing. And an opportunity missed.
The local area inspections is very useful, I think, in preparation.
The detail of the tribunals, I don't think I'd quite expected that. It was very interesting. It's not an area that I'm particularly involved with. Schools, yeah, it's not something I'm particularly involved with. It was very interesting, and there'll be little bits of useful information from that to take back to the Senkos that I work with.
From aspects of the law, that was really interesting. Yes, very interesting. It's not my area of expertise within education or the law, but that was really interesting part, yes.
I've had some interesting chats with some people over lunch from the voluntary sector, so that was very interesting. Yeah, so it's interesting, there are different people from different sectors, because the questions, I mean, for instance, the people from health and the questions they've asked have been really interesting.
Well, as Judge McConnell was saying in the plenary session, the law does trump all, and to give non-lawyers a chance to really understand and question some of the judgments and decisions and help make sense of them and apply them to their own practice, I think is really important. So that's why I'm really pleased to be running this case law update at the conference today.
I think it's really important to bring people together from different agencies to explore how everything is working, because we all work in our different areas, and some of us work locally, some of us work nationally, but I tend to hear the parents' viewpoint most often, and I don't get to hear what's happening strategically across other areas of the reform, so it's really useful to get updates about what's going on.
We do tend to go to the people that we tend to work alongside, so I've been talking to other IAS people, but also other people who work in other areas.
My area of work, which it'll probably focus on this afternoon, is continuing care, so I'm particularly interested to hear about that more so than this morning, but this morning's been really useful and helpful for me.
No, I think it's pretty well organised and well thought through.